Good morning. In this part of the webinar, we'll talk about career planning. First, we'll discuss competences, including future competences in the labor market. Then we'll talk about ways to plan your career and set professional goals. Later on, we'll focus on how to write a good CV and methods of looking for a job. So let's start. It is worth starting your career planning by analyzing your competences. Competences are a combination of knowledge, skills, and attitudes. Knowledge refers to specific facts, features, and theories that we know and understand in a particular area. Skills are our abilities to perform certain activities and apply our knowledge into practice to achieve specific goals. Attitudes, on the other hand, relate to our dispositions and ways of thinking about how we respond to specific ideas and situations. When planning your career, it is worth considering your most important key competences. So please think about what you are good at, what your strengths and assets are, and which of these things could be useful to an employer in a job market. Among the key competences that we can develop throughout our lives, the European Commission has identified 8 of the most important ones. These include digital, linguistic, mathematical, and entrepreneurial competences, as well as so-called soft competences related to learning, personal, and social competences. Think about which of these are your strengths and what are you good at. Also think about which of these competences you would like to develop in order to achieve your professional goals. It is also worth paying attention into the so-called key competences identified in the annual Future of Job report. In this year's edition of the report, the key competences include analytical thinking, flexibility, creativity, motivation and self-awareness, empathy and active listening, and, for example, lifelong learning, and so on. It is worth noting that these are different types of competences here, including cognitive competences, self-awareness, management, and digital competences. The same report also points to the fastest growing competences, those which we can develop the most rapidly in the coming years. It is worth knowing that the top 3 positions on this list are occupied by technological skills related to, among others, the development of artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and technology literacy. In addition, the list also includes the competences we have already mentioned, like creativity, analytical thinking, and lifelong learning. So it is also worth considering which of these competences we have, at what level, and whether it is worth developing them to increase our chances in a job market in the future. When planning your career, it is worth setting specific goals that you want to achieve. When setting goals, you can use the so-called SMART rule. SMART is an acronym that stands for the 5 characteristics of well-formulated goal. So first, your goal should be specific so that there is no doubt about what you want to achieve. Secondly, your goal should be measurable so that it's always possible to check whether you have achieved your goal or not yet. Our goal can be expressed in a specific indicator, for example, a number. Thirdly, our goal should be achievable, possible to achieve. So you should not set goals that are beyond our reach or that we have no influence on achieving it. The fourth rule is that our goal should be important to us. If it is, it can motivate us to achieve it. Finally, our goal should be specific in time. So we should set a specific deadline for its achievement. Examples of well-formulated goals according to the SMART rule are, for example, I will refresh and update my CV by 20th of January. Or by the 10th of January, I will make a list of 10 job offers to which I will apply. Please note that in both examples, we have a specific goals expressed in numbers, as well as the deadline for achieving it. Now we have a well-formulated goal according to SMART rules. So what can we do next? How we can increase the chances of achieving it? First, we can divide our goals into specific stages and tasks. We call this operationalizing of the goal, so translating a large goal into specific smaller steps. Next, it is worth setting deadlines for when we'll complete all of these tasks. You can also consider the resources you need, such as support from others, information, and tools necessary to achieve your goal. Think about which of these you already have and which you still need and how to get it. For each task, it is also worth considering who could help you with it. Perhaps a career advisor, teacher, or friends will be helpful. The last important question is how you will know that you have completed the specific task. So what its specific results will be. We can see that setting goals is not only about identifying specific measurable goals with deadlines, but also about planning and its implementation well. This increases the chances for achieving it. The most important document in recruiting process is your CV. It should briefly present your important skills. That is why it is good to know how to organize your professional information in order to interest the recruiter. Now let's discuss the most important categories that should be included in your CV. The first category is contact details. So please write here your full name and contact details, such as your telephone number and email address. The next category is your professional profile. So this is a brief summary of the most important skills from the point of view of the position you are applying for now. Your professional profile should also include your career goals, so what you want to achieve in the near future and what you want to learn professionally. The next category is education. Here, please make a list of the schools you have graduated from or you are still attending. Keep the order from the most recent schools at the top to the oldest at the bottom. However, remember that you do not have to include all stages of your education here. If you are a person who graduated from university, you do not have to include information about your primary school. The next category is professional experience. Here, also keep the order from the most recent experience at the top and the oldest at the bottom. From each experience, specify the name of the employer, the position you held, and your duties. Emphasize the duties that are most relevant to the position you are applying for now. And for each experience, also add the dates when you work in this particular position. The next category is skills. Here, it is worth including both your hard skills and soft skills. Indicate here which foreign language you speak and at what level. Please do not forget about your digital skills and your soft skills, such as teamwork, time management, and communication skills. Focus on the skills that are emphasized in the job offer you are applying for now. In your CV, you can also include a category for the other activities, such as volunteer work or involvement in non-governmental organizations. You can also highlight here your achievements and successes. When writing your CV, it is important to adapt your document to a specific job offer you are applying for. So please pay attention to the employer expectations regarding your professional experience, education, and competences. Highlight in your document those competences that are the most consistent with the employer expectations, such as language or digital skills. In addition, if you have experience in the industry that you are now applying to, it is also worth highlighting this professional experience. Now let's discuss the most common mistakes that can appear in a CV and how to avoid them. The first is not adjusting your document to a specific job offer, but sending the same CV to all employers. To avoid this mistake, please pay attention to specific skills required in a specific job offer. Another mistake can be a little illegible CV, like unclear division into categories, linguistic errors, incorrect text formatting, and so on. So it is worth preparing your document in such a way that it is clear and legible for the recruiter. Please also remember that recruiters usually do not read our document word by word, but most often scan it at the beginning. Also, remember to describe your professional experience by listing the responsibilities you had in a given job, because the only job title alone may not be enough to understand what you did. Also, avoid CVs that are too colorful, too creative, or contain various eligible fonts. It is usually best to choose more classic CV template that is easy to read for the reader. Also, remember that your CV should be not too long. It can easily be 2 pages long, but it should not be longer than that. This is because it should only highlight those skills that are relevant to the job you are applying for now. Once you have your CV ready, it is worth considering how you can look for a job. The first way is to build a network of contacts. Here it is worth informing your friends that you have specific skills, specific professional experience, and looking for a specific job. You can also use social media for this purpose, for example, LinkedIn. We can also look for a job by sending our documents to specific job offers posted on job portals. There we can filter offers by industry, position, or location. When looking for a job, it is also worth going to job fairs when you can meet many employers in one place. During the fair, you can talk to employers directly and give them your CV. It is also a good idea to get some career advice. The career advisor will help you to plan the best career path for you, talk to you about your strengths, and help you to prepare your application documents. It is worth considering which of these job search methods will be best in your situation. To sum up, in this part of the webinar, we talk about competences in the labor market, as well as how to plan your career and to set professional goals. We also discussed the main principles of writing CV and talk about ways of looking for a job. We hope that these tips will be useful for you in planning your career. Thank you for your attention.